Mic on? It's good? Okay. Mike Barley, I'm actually Director of Architecture at Gen. And so, for those, wrong way. There we go. Okay, so Gen, what's Gen? Gen is actually the merging of two companies. It's Avast Antivirus and Norton LifeLock. And they actually started their digital trust services in 2021 by acquiring two startup companies, Evernym and SecureKey. And so we're here because of we are part of SecureKey. Talking about our product, we have a comprehensive digital trust platform which provides APIs and provides a business portal where you can develop your solutions for doing digital identity with verifiable credentials. And we also offer a digital wallet called Mighty. It's available on the app stores today, but it's for storing these credentials and working with them. So how are we involved with the DHS SVIP program? Through SecureKey, we've been involved with the permanent resident card verifiable credential since 2019. And today we are focused more on providing a globally accessible commercial digital wallet that will work with this permanent resident card and other verifiable credentials. What I'm going to be demonstrating today is actually something around academic credentialing. I'm doing a pilot project with Accenture. Accenture is interested in expanding their recruitment portal to allow students to provide digital credentials for their education credentials. And then we wanted to enhance that. We wanted to show the value of the permanent resident card as sort of an ability to work. So your ability to work in the US combined with your education background will get you through the Accenture HR portal a little faster. So a quick intro to the demo, what you're going to see. On the right, you'll see the Mighty app. It will already have the permanent resident card credential loaded, as we've sort of seen from the other demonstrations. So that card will be loaded. And then there's also something called a Mighty verified document, which is a process where you scan your face and your document, and then we verify the information there. What's missing is the education credentials. So the user will sort of begin the process. Through their workflow, the Mighty app will detect that they're missing credentials, help them obtain those education credentials, and then ultimately successfully submit them back to the portal. On the left side, you'll see it's actually our development portal. We won't see Accenture's site here, but this is the developer site that we use. So again, on the right is the app. You can see that we have the permanent resident card and the other credentials loaded. And we start the process by scanning a QR code, which is making a request for the permanent resident card as well as the education credentials. The application at this point is able to say, all right, well, you have one of those things, but you do not have the education credentials. So we have an embedded workflow where we pass the user over to a National Student Clearinghouse who can be an issuer for those credentials, for those education credentials. National Student Clearinghouse would like an ID verification so they can look you up in their database. So what's being provided is the driver's license verification that we've done previously. This gets passed through to National Student Clearinghouse. They're an aggregator. They have a connection to something like 99% of the schools in the US. So they're just doing a lookup. And then when they find the necessary credentials, they're going to issue them back to the mobile device. Here there's two, I think. The only distinction is one is a specialization in security and the other one is in theory. The point is that the individual now has their education credentials issued to them and they can add them to their wallet and to their profile. The Mighty application then picks up where it left off and goes back to the original request, back to the Accenture HR site. And here we see the original request. We have the request for the permanent resident card and then the two education credentials. So, the user is able to review what they have, so they have a clear understanding of what's actually going through to Accenture, and then they send that off. And then Accenture system would then use that information to progress the application. On the left, this is our testing site. So we check to see the information that came across. This has already been verified and gone through all the cryptographic verification processes, and this is the raw data that has come through. This would then be used in the backend system. And that covers the demo. Thank you very much.
This is really your...
I was too fast.
I have too many questions, but I'm just curious. So when you're requesting a credential from the Student Clearinghouse, are they the issuer of the credential, or is the institution the issuer of the credential?
The National Student Clearinghouse is going to be acting as the issuer of the credential.
On behalf of the institution?
Sorry, what's that?
On behalf of the institution?
On behalf of the institution. So they're an aggregator service that's connected, and they're looking at the verifiable credential market to see how that, it might impact their core business flow. And so that's why, they're involved with Accenture in this pilot.
So you were a startup with SVIP funding that was acquired in sort of the middle of the project, it sounds like. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So we, as Secure Key Technologies, we started back in 2019. And then in 2021, we went through the acquisition process. First it was Avast, and then it merged with Gen. And so we're still able to participate as that larger organization, which is still pretty exciting, because as we now have the Gen body behind us, we're trying to bring more things to market, and to have the permanent resident card as a real government issued digital credential as part of the story is very valuable.
So are you able to maintain some of that startup agility and closeness to the customer that we heard about earlier, even though you're now part of a very large company?
It's not as easy. I will freely admit that. But we still remain a digital trust services wing of the company. And as part of the acquisition and then the subsequent merger, we're still able to realize our vision and meet our core business goals. So we have deliverables in Canada that we were supporting as Secure Key, and then this project as well, we continue to develop.
I hadn't seen the workflow before. Can you tell me, was the workflow hosted in the wallet, or where is that?
So the workflow is a component that we heard from customers, sort of what does a person do when they don't have the credential, right? Or they don't know what a credential is or how to find it. So what we've done with the platform is we've made it fairly flexible. So it's basically a configuration of the customer building the solution to say, if this credential is missing, here's a list of essentially issuers that the person can go to fill it out. And what we demonstrated was presenting another credential in order to receive more. But we also support just redirecting to a website, so that if you require manually enter information, or you required a login in order to identify the person, then we would support all that, and then credentials would flow in.
Okay, but that all happens as part of a separate product, apart from the credential of the wallet.
Well, the wallet is calling out to our back-end service. The back-end service is sort of providing information, but it is orchestrating between back-end systems in order to do it. And it is within the wallet, yeah.
And just to elaborate on that, is the HR system that Accenture uses a custom system, or one of the larger systems that
It's one of it's a very well-known HR system. Probably we're all using it, and they've been working with them as well in order to enhance their recruitment process to accept these credential types. Yeah. So there's been a few systems that Accenture already has in place, which they've had to modify, and then that's from a technical angle. Probably more interestingly was talking with the business unit, who's actually trying to make sure that they remain compliant, that they the processes and other background checks that they need to do, which are not credential based, can still happen. And so there was a lot of that business flow work that had to go into it, as well as the technology.
Thank you all very much. Thank you.